Hello, everyone. It's Debra Hamilton, and you are at the MAAP Blueprint program. I'm so glad you're here. This is a program that's near and dear to my heart because it is all about how we take the time to care for our pets, long-term or short-term. I'm an attorney who now mediates conflicts between people over animals, so this is a pet project of mine that I created because of an event that happened in my life. In 2013, I broke my ankle. And I thought that I had everything in place for the care of my 9 dogs after anything would happen to me. I had everything in place. I had handshook my friends. We all had agreed that we would take care of each other's pets if something happened to the person. Well, that didn't really happen. My family was taking care of me, and my friends had things in their lives that really legitimately disabled them from being able to take care of my pets. One had broken her wrist, and the other was renovating her kennel. So what are you to do? There I am. I'm 8 weeks in a cast with a broken ankle, and I can't care for my pets. I realized at that minute I had been woefully disrespectful, really, of the needs of my pets, of what they were counting on me to do. I had not taken care of them in a way that really makes the most of what their lives will be if they're not living with me. So I sat down right then and there and wrote the first part of this program, which was I'm Not Dead Yet, which addressed the fact that unless you're dead, any plan you make in your will doesn't come to fruition. And it's sort of matriculated into the MAAP plan because I realized that it's not about whether or not I'm dead or not, if my dogs are taken care of. It's really navigating the journey my pets take if I can't care for them long-term or short-term. And that's why I call it the MAAP plan. And it's a blueprint that enables you to create, to construct, to focus on what it is you want done with your pets if you can't care for them long-term, short-term. So I'm a mediator of conflicts between people over animals, and a number of times I have mediations with families who don't want to take care of their mother's pet if something happened to her, or are fighting over the pet because they're getting divorced, and they're missing the point that, in fact, their pet doesn't hate their ex. I hate my ex. Not really. I love my husband. I don't have an ex. But my clients say to me, I hate my ex. And I turn to them and I go, I get it. And I want to respect how you feel. However, your pet doesn't. And if something happened to you, your pet would really prefer to be with your ex. So we have a conversation that really focuses on what's best for the animal. And I'm hoping that's why you're here today, because you want to focus on making a plan that creates a journey that your pet takes that cares for your pet's needs in a way that will keep them whole. It will make sure they are cared for in the way they would have been had you been able to do it short-term or long-term. It's funny, on Facebook, a friend of mine, Kathleen, was thanking another friend of hers because she had a stomach bug this week, and that friend came in and took care of her dog. And I wrote down at the bottom, I'm hoping you're feeling better, and I hope you're coming to the blueprint plan for the MAAP, so your dog's journey is set in sort of stone on how they're going to get cared for in the event you're sick. That's short term. You're dead, that's long term. And you need to make a plan. You cannot leave it to chance, because your dogs, your cats, your birds, your horses are really depending on you to make sure things are so much better than what they would be without a plan. I want to start this webinar by saying that I'm doing it without anyone on the line, even though I had several people on the line before, because unfortunately the recording was really poor. And so I wanted to make sure that those who listened to it after would get a clear understanding and a clear sound, and I would be present and not asking people to mute. So I wanted to make sure you understood why all the people are not on the webinar who were on the webinar. I am going to answer their questions. There's some really good ones, especially Katie. I want to make sure that everybody is undisturbed, grounded, and present for this program because it is so important. The MAAP plan is a simple, efficient, and affordable program that you can partake in. I'm going to tell you at the end how to do that so that you can start the journey that you take in order to create the journey your pets take when you can't care for them. Most of you might think you have your plan in place because it's in your will. As I said at the beginning, unfortunately for that plan to come to fruition, you must die. So I need you to make sure that you die. Because if you don't die, that plan doesn't come into fruition. The money you set aside doesn't come to play. Your attorneys would tell you that. But a number of attorneys don't know how to ask their clients about a pet trust because you need to appoint people to handle that pet trust, to handle the pets. And that's the piece I fill in because I help you identify those people who are going to be your lifeline for your pets. It is an art. It is something that people don't even know they know. It's sort of, instead of the old adage, you don't know what you don't know, I help you recognize what you do know that you don't think you know. Because there are people in your life who will be more than happy to take care of your pets if you give them a roadmap. And that's why this is called the MAAP plan. Because not only does it navigate the journey your pets take, it gives the people who are going to be caring for your pets a roadmap on how you would take care of your pets if you were able to, short-term or long-term. So let's get started. Again, this is Debra Hamilton, and I'm an attorney. I'm a mediator of conflicts between people over animals, and this program was created because I broke my ankle, and I didn't have a plan. So you always learn, necessity is the mother of invention. You always learn from an experience you have. So I want you to go back and think about the handshakes you have with your neighbors or your friends about you taking care of their pets and them taking care of your pets. How's that working? Do you really know how to take care of the neighbor's cat if you're a dog person, or the neighbor's dog if you're a cat person, or the bird if you are a dog or cat person, or the horse? I live here in New York, in Westchester County, and there are horses everywhere. And for me, one of the most important things that I need to help people do is plan for the care of their horses. On television, you see everywhere disasters happening. You have tornadoes, you have hurricanes, you have mudslides, you have fires. Do not ask your neighbor to take your pet when the wind shifts and the fire is coming toward your house, because they are, first of all, in fight-flight mode. They're scared to death. They're putting whatever they can in their car, and since you didn't speak about it during a less troublesome time, they are not really able to focus on that at that moment. Had you made a plan and given them direction, they would have been more able to help you out in a time of crisis. I actually went out to a group home of homes. There were lots of homes with lots of horses. I loved it because I wanted to move there. And they had me come in to help them figure out a disaster plan for their pets, their horses. And they all knew that they were each able to take care of the other one's horses. They were going to take their horses off site, put them somewhere, and then come back and get someone else's horses. And I said, well, that is a great plan. That is a phenomenal plan because at least you're thinking about it. But there are 3 questions that you must answer. How do I get my own horses off? How do I get my friends' horses off? And where do I go? Unless you have those 3 questions answered when you're trying to move horses, saying you'll move someone's horse is not helpful. Because if you move your horses first, say you have 2 and you take your trailer, and most trailers hold 2, you might not be able to get back to get your friend's horses. And though you have the best of intentions, you can't get back. There's a small window when a fire is coming that you can get your horses out, or a flood is coming, or a landslide, or whatever. You can't get them out. And you're going to get yours out first. And that, I don't have any problem with people saying, I'm getting mine out first, and I'll come back for yours. But if you could, would you take an extra step to make sure you could take 2 at the same time? After I spoke to these people, not only did they find a place uphill and downhill where their horses would be safe from flood, fire, tornado, whatever, but they also all put second hitches on their other car, whether or not it really was a car that was supposed to carry horses. It was a car that could carry horses out of harm's way, and that's what mattered. It wasn't something that was going to be a long-term, I'm hauling horses across country. No, I'm hauling horses out of the eye of the storm. And they were so grateful. They told everybody. I've been getting bombarded with requests to do this program for other horse owners because it really is something you need to plan for. Horses don't move. And if you get sick or you break a bone, thinking that the barn people will take care of your horse is probably true, but will they take care of your horse the way you do? Will they know the food it's supposed to have? Will they know whether or not it gets along with another horse? Will they know it shouldn't have sweet feed? Will it know any of that? Not unless you make a MAAP plan. Not unless you are proactive about creating a plan that helps people care for your animal the way you want them to. My friend Denise Fleck and I do this program. We love it. It's about disaster preparedness. It's about planning for your animals if, in fact, you get sick or you die. If you want first aid, Denise is like the first aid guru. So we have these, well, it's the 60s, but we sometimes say the 80s because it's Denise and Debra. But the 60s are divorce, delay, disaster, disease, disability, and death. Most of us plan for the care of our pets in death. But what about disease and disability? If you have cancer, if you have Alzheimer's, if you have a stomach bug, how are you going to take care of your pets if you're down for the count? There is a stomach bug that's going around that is knocking people off their feet for days. How do you take care of your pets? That is part of the MAAP plan that will help you have someone ready, willing, and able to come in and take care of your pets as if you were able to do it. If you have a delay in an airplane or a delay on the road, look at what happened to the roads in Atlanta. Roads blew up. What if you're delayed? Who's going to take care of your pets? What if you're on an airplane and there's a delay? There are tons of delays. I mean, how many of you have traveled on an airplane and not been delayed? I am not one of them. And you have to have a plan in place to care for your pet in the event there's a delay. And finally, if you get divorced, as I said at the beginning of this webinar, recognizing that your pet doesn't hate your ex is key. Your pet would prefer to be with the person that they know than with a stranger. And I get it that I certainly have clients who never want to see their ex again. But there are cottage industries, the dog taxis, the dog walkers, the doggy daycare, that will transition your dog from person to person so that you never have to see them again. But your dog or your cat is with someone who grounds them, who knows them. And you'll give them all the information they need to continue to care for the pet in the way you had prior to your divorce. So the MAAP plan has you sit down and create this journey that your pet is going to take in the event you can't care for them. We usually rely on our friends to care for our pets. But did you know that if, in fact, you have a friend caring for your pet and they go to your veterinarian, unless there's a note in the veterinarian's file that says, Debra Hamilton can bring my dog in to be treated, your vet should not. In all 50 states, this is true. They may not abide by it, but it's true. Should not treat your pet unless that document is in their file. In fact, I just gave a program at a veterinarian's office, and they said, well, yeah, you know, the housekeeper comes or the kids come or whatever. And I said, you really need to make a generic note that says, in the event the owner, Mr. Smith, is not bringing Fluffy to the vet, Mr. Smith's son, Jim, or daughter, Mary, or caregiver, Lupa, can come with the dog and have it treated, and I will pay for the bill. You really need to do that. It's a step. It's a necessary step, and you really need to take it because you want to assure your pet gets the care it needs in the event your veterinarian says, listen, I don't even know who you are, and I don't know that what you're going to do for this pet is what Debra would want. So you really need to make sure you give your vet the permission they need to care for your pet. And I have to say that not only does the MAAP plan work for you when you're injured, I was giving this program for 2 years, happily giving this program for 2 years, and then my husband in 2015 broke his shoulder. And I realized my MAAP plan not only worked for me when I was hurt in 2013, but worked for me when my husband was hurt in 2015, because I could leave my pets and my caregivers could come in and take care of them. It may have only been once or twice a day or once or twice a week when he was feeling better, but I knew that they knew what to do, how to do it. I knew I could reimburse them because I had the funds there in my pet trust. It was the greatest peace of mind for me that my dogs were being well taken care of while I was taking care of my husband, which is what I really wanted to do. And you don't think about that because you only think about the fact that, well, if I can't take care of my pets, I need somebody. But quite frankly, if a family member of yours gets ill, your mother, your children, your spouse, you're going to want to be with them and help them recover. So be proactive. Make that plan that keeps your pets safe. As they're looking at you with those, well, for the Siberian Huskies with those beautiful blue eyes, or for the Irish setters in the world with those beautiful brown eyes, or for the cats with the hazel and the green eyes, and the birds and the horses, they look at you with such love and trust. They believe you're navigating that journey that they're taking on this earth. And you're only navigating that journey if you're able to be there. The MAAP Blueprint enables you to navigate that journey even if you're not there. And that's the beauty of this program. And it's easy to use, it's affordable, and it's efficient. It's 3 weeks of your time. I'm going to get to how to sign up for it later, but just keep in the back of your mind that it's 3 weeks of your time. And you have me to ask questions for, and you have people who are in the program who will also ask questions that will spur things in your mind that'll say, I never thought of that. Shoot, I better take care of that too. It really is. When I do these group programs, it's amazing how people figure out that they don't think of all eventualities and that their colleague with an animal thinks of an eventuality that is amazing. As I said to you, I had a friend who was sick who was thanking her friend on Facebook for taking care of her pet. There was also an older Irish setter who was dropped off at a shelter by an older woman's family because nobody wanted the dog. It was 13 years old. And older dogs sometimes don't smell so good, sometimes aren't so clean, sometimes aren't continent. You know, there are things that are going on. And so they dropped her off at a shelter. And because of the huge rescue network in the purebred world, not just Irish setters, in the AKC, most of you might not know this, but in the AKC world, all the national clubs either support or are affiliated with rescues of that breed. And you can trust those rescues that they are in it for the best interests of the animal. So this Irish setter was dropped off. We heard about it. The Irish Setter Club of America heard about it. And we got her out in jig time. She was out pretty quickly, and we found her a foster home, and she's living there now. But I'm sure that this woman's family didn't really want to drop the 13-year-old off in a shelter, but guess what? Nobody made a plan. guess what? They didn't know about the various places where this dog could go that would not put her in jeopardy of health issues that come with putting an older dog in a shelter. So if you want to enable your pet never to set foot in the shelter you adopted it from before, or if you want to make sure your dog doesn't end up in a shelter because they've never been there, you have to make a plan. You have to navigate that journey for them, because if you don't, that's where they're going. And it's with all best intention. In no-kill shelters, these dogs can languish for days, weeks, months, years, because they're not themselves in these shelters. So you're not seeing the wonderful older dog. They might be sitting in the back shivering, and people aren't really drawn to dogs that are sitting in the back shivering. They want the outgoing young puppy dogs. So you really need to figure out how to plan for the care of your pet. If you have friends who suffer from Alzheimer's or who've had a stroke, they absolutely want to still maintain their connection to their dogs. I actually gave one of my dogs to a friend whose mother had Alzheimer's, because that dog grounded that woman every single day, because every time she saw the dog, she was grounded. And we now visit her in a memory care facility because she really attaches to this dog. People who've had strokes or going through chemotherapy, there's a commercial now on television where a woman is using Fenestra, I think, or some drug that helps with the bone pain post-chemotherapy or builds up bone density post-chemotherapy. So it's a commercial about using that at home. And she's with her husband, and they're going outside, and she's, not in the hospital receiving this medication, but at home, and that's the benefit of it. And they say, don't you want to be home, with your loved ones? And it's her husband and her dog. How many of you, when you're sick, all you want to do is lay in bed with your dog? And how many of you, when you're sick, your dog doesn't move on your bed all day long, never doing that on another day, in your bed all day long, making you feel better? And that's for cats too. They sense it. They know when we're not feeling well. And we get better quicker if, in fact, we have our animals with us. So we certainly don't want our animals to go away if, in fact, we have to go to a nursing home. And wouldn't it have been great had that family with that 13-year-old Irish setter been able to set something up where the dog went somewhere, but that the person who took it was able, even if they're compensated a little, to bring that dog to the nursing home where the woman now is, so she would be able to keep in touch with that dog. It's just a thought. It's a thought that you might want to consider, and that's why you're here, listening to me go on and on about making the MAAP plan and drawing up the blueprint of the journey your pets are going to take in the event you can't care for them. People are going to come to your aid because they want you to come to the aid of their pets if, in fact, something happens to them. So now I'm going to go through what MAAP stands for. The MAAP Blueprint stands for the plan you're going to make the care of your pets long-term, short-term. It's easy to remember. The M is for making the plan. You have to decide what's a gotta have and a nice to have. You've got to put down what it is you would do in any circumstance. So if the dog is sick, if the dog is hurt, if the dog has to be separated or can't be separated, what is it that makes this animal tick? You have to make that plan. Now, it doesn't mean that the person who takes the dog is going to follow that plan completely. They're going to do the best they can because you got a conversation about it beforehand, much more so than if you just handed them the dog and said, here, do your best. So you've had a conversation with them, and they're going to do their best. But at least your pet knows that you've taken the time to make sure that they are well cared for. The second piece is to address the needs of each and every one of your pets. Most of us know the persnickety nature of our pets right here. It's up here. And unless we can do a mind meld like the Vulcans do, nobody's going to know that Jezebel and Athena should never be with each other. They don't like each other. If I don't write that down, if I don't share that with my caregivers, it's going to be ugly. if I leave and they don't know and they put everybody out together? So you have to address the needs of each and every one of your pet, not only for food allergies and foods that make them sick and medications they're on, and whether or not they like their nails cut and how you do it so that they don't mind. All those things that are absolutely special to you, you need to put down when you address the needs of each and every pet. The second A is for appointing your caregivers. These are the people who are going to care for your pets, and only one of them really, truly, I'm telling you, can be a family member. I have 2 sons who I love, and I have a husband who I love. None of them should really be taking any of my dogs, maybe one, but I doubt it. Because they're just not in a place in their life where taking my dogs would be easy for them, and they would do it because they had to. And I have to tell you, that is what most people say to me who end up with somebody's dog. I took it because nobody else wanted it, and otherwise it would end up in a shelter. And so now I have it, and it's really expensive, and I really didn't want it, but I felt bad, and so I took it. You don't want somebody to take a dog with that as the reason they took it, because nobody else wanted it. You want somebody to take the dog because they feel as if they are completely in the loop. They know what this dog is about. And if they can't take the dog, that they, in fact, can find someone who can take the dog. You have to trust that these people know your dog and know where it will thrive best, because you've had that conversation. You've appointed people to place your dogs or to take your dogs who are the next best thing to you being there. And finally, the last piece, which nobody ever does, drives me nuts. I actually had a woman do my MAAP program on the West Coast. She did everything but the last letter, the P, because she forgot. I don't know. And then, unfortunately and tragically, she died in surgery. And someone came in and told her husband, I'll place the dogs. And he didn't know that she had made a MAAP plan because she didn't publish it. She didn't give him a copy. She didn't tell him where a copy was. She didn't have a note up on her refrigerator generically telling people who walk through the door, I have a plan for my pets. It's in the drawer. This is what it is. Call this person. Whatever you want to put up there to let people know you've made a MAAP plan. It's incredible that she didn't. All the dogs were placed, and the people who she had appointed and told about the MAAP plan came a day or two after they found out that she had passed away, and all the dogs were gone. And the person who placed them said, they're in really great homes, too bad. So not only did this woman make a MAAP plan and set forth who she wanted to get her pets, that was thwarted because she didn't follow through with the last piece, which is to publish the MAAP plan and to let people know. So you want to let your family know, I have this MAAP plan. Here it is. Here's a copy of it. Here's what you need to do if something happens to me for my pets. You need to let your vet know, because if someone else is bringing your pet to them, they need to know. You need to let your attorney know, because they need to fund whatever costs come with transitioning the dogs to the new people. You need to publish. It's key. So that's why it's the MAAP plan, navigating the journey your pet takes when you can't care for it. At this juncture, I'm going to tell you about an exciting new Blueprint program that I'm starting, and it's going to be so easy and efficient and affordable for you to take so that you can make the MAAP plan. It's a blueprint that is going to help you do step by step by step on your own at your own pace the plan that your pets need in order to be cared for if something happens to you. It's 4 laser-focused modules with guidance in a video and worksheets. Plus, I'm going to add a 5th module that will answer any remaining questions or kick you in the hiney so that you finish it up, because I want everybody to have this done by Labor Day. It is so important to me, so I want you to have it done by Labor Day, or if this is later on in the program, have it by the New Year, or if this is early in the program, have it by Memorial Day. Have a date certain when you want this to be done so that your pets are cared for. It's so important to me, and I'm hoping it's so important to you. So it's 4 laser-focused modules with video guidance, so you're going to watch me, again, sorry, tell you how to complete the worksheets. And then there's the wrap-up one that's going to help you answer any questions. But I'm also going to have video conferences every 21 days. So you could actually have this done in 3 months, because if you sign up after this video, you will be able to get the first module right away. And within 21 days, you'll get the second module. Within 21 days, you'll get the third module. And then within 21 days, you'll get the fourth module. So in 3 months, you could get this done. And your dogs could be protected. Your dogs, your horse, your bird, your fish, whatever, could be protected. And we will have our live question and answer every 21 days so that we can make sure that any questions you have, or where you're stuck, or where you can't find somebody, or you don't know how to put that together, or how do I say this, I'm there. All 4 of the modules are self-explanatory, and you can do the work and create that piece of the MAP plan. It's really important. So again, I'm going to tell you, I do a monthly, at least an hour-long Zoom like this, so that you can ask questions. And I will stay on the internet till all your questions are answered, because to complete the blueprint is my mission in life. I want you to complete the blueprint. And you will learn things, even if you have no questions. Come on. Because as I said before, there are people who are going to have questions that you didn't think to ask. And you're like, holy moly, I got to take care of that too. It is so impactful. I learn things from every blueprint group that I put through this program. I learn things and I add them to my repertoire, because people think of the wildest things that they want to do for their pets that in fact are incredibly important. So the plan is an investment of $57, 3 payments of $57, or a one-time payment of $147, which has you save, oh God, almost 30 bucks. So you want to sign up right away. It's the MAAP Blueprint program. There are 4 modules. You'll get one every 21 days. You'll get to talk to me every 21 days on this Google platform. And you'll have the plan ready to go in 3 months. And even if you don't, I'll be there to help you along the way. Just write me. I'll help you. This is my heart. I want this to be done. So I want you to do it. So the MAAP Blueprint program, if you buy it up front, it's $147. If you want to do it in a payment program, because I know that money's tight for people, it's $57, 3 times 57. And you'll be able to get all this information. And you'll sign up tonight. It'll be great. Now, I've had so many people. It's funny. I did this early because I want to accommodate my colleagues and friends and people who have seen this program in Europe, because it's hard for them to see the program in Europe when I do it at 9 o'clock at night, which accommodates people in North America, does not accommodate people in Australia or Europe. So here we are doing it early in the morning to accommodate people in Australia and Europe. And they've sent questions. So the North American people have sent questions this time, because one of my friends called from California and said, you know that 6 o'clock in the morning is when I'm getting my kids out to school. And I go, I get it, but you're going to get the recording. And so you're going to hear about everything that I said, and you're going to have the opportunity to sign up for the blueprint. And that's what you want to do. You want to build that program that is totally your own. It's caring for your pets the way you want them to be cared for, knowing that there are people who are going to do the best they can, better than having no blueprint, no roadmap whatsoever. That's why I'm here. So first of all, James asked me, why is it that you want only one member of the family to be part of the MAAP program? Well, James, it's because if something happens to you, your family's going to want to take care of you, and they're going to feel so great that you decided to have somebody else come in and take care of the dogs. It really, trust me, they will be so thankful that you were proactive to get somebody to come in and take care of the dogs, because they want to take care of you. And like I said before, if they get hurt, you will be so thankful you were proactive, because somebody will be able to come in and take care of the dogs, and you won't have to take care of them. Short term, but works. You don't have to worry. You're not feeling guilty. Oh, my dog's been locked up in crates all day. You're not feeling guilty, which is really important. Then Mary asked, but I have all of this in my will. Why do I need a MAAP plan? Well, Mary, at the beginning, I think you heard me say, then you have to die. God forbid, Mary, I certainly don't want you to die. But if all of your plans are in your will, you need to die in order for those plans to come to fruition, which is why I created the MAAP plan. And I give this program in lunch and learns to big law firms all over the country because they don't know how to talk to their clients about making a pet trust. They can make a pet trust, but they can't fill in the blanks of the pet trust, which is how do I, and they don't want to. I need to let you know a big secret. Law firms do not want to help you create who's the person who's taking care of your pets, what your pets need, the plan you want to, they just want to put money aside in a pet trust, and then they're going to call the trustee or they're going to call somebody, and that's going to be it. And one person. And if that one person can't do it, catchers catch can. And I hate leaving my dogs, my cats, my birds, my horses to catchers catch can. Not good, not good at all. So you really want to have a pet trust. And thankfully, all 50 states now, it used to not be this way, but now it is. All 50 states enable you to have a pet trust, which you can leave money. And I always say leave a little bit of money. We talk about this in the blueprint, so I'm not going to go into it in detail, but you want to leave a little bit of money in there because it's only really to transport the dog from point A to point B. The person who's caring for your dog is not doing it because they're going to have a windfall of money. They could, but that's not why they're doing it. And also, you have to decide if you're like me, a little older, whether or not it's a revocable trust or an irrevocable trust, because there are Medicare and Social Security ramifications if it's a revocable trust. So we cover that in the blueprint. So don't worry about it. If you sign up, you will learn all about that because that's what we do in the blueprint. That's what I talk about. Steve asks, well, will I get to see my dog? Steve, that's why you make a plan. So if I am sick, I'm suffering from cancer, I'm suffering from a stroke, I have a broken bone, the person who's caring for my pet, if they're doing it outside the house, will have already agreed to say, I'm going to bring the dog to see you because I know your recovery is going to be so much better if, in fact, you see your dog. This is something you set up. If you don't set it up, believe me, you're never going to see your dog again. It's going to go, and nobody's going to make the time because you didn't have that conversation. It's sort of like calling your neighbor when the wind shifts and the fire is coming toward your house, and you say, could you take my dog with you when you leave? And they go, no, I'm sorry. I feel really bad, but I have to take my dog, my cat, my bird, and my silver, and my pictures, and my important documents, and there's no room for your dog. So you need to make sure you make this plan before anything happens. Now, Caroline asked a great question about co-ownership. So with a pet trust, you have to own the dog. If you don't own the dog, and believe me, nobody who buys a dog from me owns the dog outright. They all co-own it with me. How do you address that? Well, you call the co-owner and you say, listen, I'm making a pet trust. I'm going to put you as the first caregiver. But if you can't take the dog, I'd really like my husband to keep the dog or my son to keep the dog or my neighbor who knows the dog since birth. And most co-owners will say, great. That will enable the co-owner to know where the dog goes. And that's really all they want to know. They want to know where the dog goes. They want to have a connection with the next person in line. But if you're proactive about this, they'll know that. And there won't be that conflict. That's where my other head, conflict resolution, comes in. They won't have that conflict that, oh my God, somebody's taking the dog, I don't know who they are, and I want them back. That also goes back to the person who placed the dogs. If, in fact, these people were great homes, that would have been something that they could have addressed in making the plan and appointing caregivers. So you really want to talk to your co-owner, say to them, listen, you are first in line. But if you can't take them, and you might not want to because you have 25 dogs, and this is an added expense, and it's an older dog, and it's not in your breeding program, and whatever it is, I have 3 people who I can place the dog with who you will then have a connection to. And that is really the most important piece to the co-owner, is that they continue to have a connection with their dog. At least for me, and I know most of my colleagues in this world of dogs and dog shows want that. I have to say that the AKC pure breed clubs, all of them, have a connection to or supervise a rescue group. And as I said before about the 13-year-old who went to the shelter, we really work toward helping animals find good future homes. So if you think you don't know anyone who's going to take your pet, contact your local national club if it's a purebred dog, or contact the shelter that you adopted your dog from and say, listen, I need to figure out how to either give you the dog back, which the shelters really don't want, or enable you to place it with my neighbor who loves the dog and let you know. Most of you haven't read the contract that you adopted your dog from the shelter, but it likely has a return clause in it that you have to abide by. Not that they know, because no shelter usually checks up, but it's good to really be legal. And so if you make this pet trust, you can say shelter XYZ gets Fluffy back, but in the event shelter XYZ can't take Fluffy or would like to enable my neighbor to take Fluffy, this is what I'd like to have happen. Again, being proactive and being peaceful about how you place your pets. Finally, on the original call that was messed up in recording, Katie asked two really good questions, and I want to re-answer them. First of all, she asked, how much time is this going to take? Because it really seems like it's going to be hard to do every single module. And it isn't, because the videos are about 30 minutes long. The worksheets are pretty manageable. And then, of course, we have the 1 hour question and answer that will help you fill in the blanks. And you can do it in that 1 hour if, in fact, you find it hard to fit it in before that. Also, you can ask questions on Module 1 while we're talking about Module 3. You can ask questions about Module 2 while we're doing the wrap-up call. It doesn't really matter. And quite frankly, I'll figure out a way that all of you will be able to contact me if you get stuck after the program is over. Because it does, you have access to this information for life, so you can get it done. And you need to schedule a review of it every year. So we will tickle you to do a review every single year, because the people you appoint, sometimes they lose their jobs, sometimes they move, sometimes they're no longer able to take care of your pets. And you need to know that, and you need to make an adjustment to your plan so your dogs and cats are still taken care of. Katie then asked, she said, you know, I'm an adult, but I don't know what a pet trust is. I don't have a will, and I don't have any insurance. We covered that as well. I talk about how to find that trust and estate professional who's going to help you do this, how to find a trust and estate professional who helps you find the insurance professional that's going to help you plan for your dogs. There are annuities we talk about that pay for the care of your dogs in the event you can't care for them. There's so much that this MAAP Blueprint plan covers that the very, very tiny expense of $147 will be well compensated. This is a drop in the bucket. This is something that you need to invest in. This is a month's worth of food maybe for a gaggle of dogs. I know I spend more than that every month for the chow in my dogs. $57 a month is about the cost of one bag of dog food. And isn't your dog, your cat, your bird, your horse, oh my God, we won't even talk about how much it costs to keep a horse, I know. Isn't it worth $57 for 3 payments of $57 or 1 payment of $147 to make a plan, finally and forever? And forever meaning that I'm going to tickle you every year and say, we need to recheck. And don't you need someone who does that? Because all of a sudden you turn around and 10 years have gone by and you're like, oh my God, so-and-so is dead and I have them as the caregiver for my dog. This is Debra Hamilton. I am so glad all of you are here, that you're listening to this recording, and that you are contemplating and hopefully taking the big dive into joining us for the MAAP Care Planning Blueprint. This blueprint enables you, empowers you, and provides you with the templates to create the program and the plan that your pets need for that journey that they're going to take when you can't care for them. Do not hesitate. This is something you want to do right now. In 3 months, you will be done. And wouldn't it give you peace of mind to know if something happens to you? Death, delay, disaster, disability, divorce, and disease, any of those things occur, your pet is ready, willing, and able to be cared for by someone else. Please join us. I'd love to have you. I'd love to know that I reached you so that your pets have a map for their journey, which is my mission in life. I want everyone's pet to have that map in their back pocket so that if something happens to their beloved owners, they are well cared for. So we'll see you on Google in 21 days if you sign up for the program. Remember, 3 payments of $57 or 1 payment of $147. You will get the first module today. You can start right away. And if in fact you can't start right away, you have 21 days to watch the video and fill out the worksheet, and then meet me here on Google to have a conversation. Have a great day. Give your pets a kiss for me. You've made a huge step in their future care by attending this MAAP Blueprint webinar. Now join us for the MAAP Care Planning Blueprint program so you can take it to the next level. This is Debra Vago to Hamilton, wishing you a great day and your pet a wonderful journey with you by their side. Take care. Oops.